Welcome to the It's All Fine and Danjee podcast, where hosts Dan and Angie talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and Danjee.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are super excited. We are recording at the Wekiva Island studio.
We still have to come up with a cool name for this place.
I know. It needs a really cool name. But yes, we are sponsored by Wekiva Island. And we are recording in the little loungy part this week. So very exciting. Last time we were at the more kind of corporate area of the studio, and this week we are in the loungy area, which I love very much.
Me too.
So
this
comfy.
is like a living room with a couch and some cushy chairs.
The lounge looks awesome.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Bill and Mary Wynock from Wekiva Island.
Yes, thank you guys
setting
so
this
much.
whole thing up. I mean, we really did minimal work. We did barely anything but brought ourselves.
Right.
So.
And thank you guys at Wekiva Island for sponsoring the show. We definitely want to make sure we give a shout out to Wekiva Island. If you're in the area here in Central Florida, it is the coolest place to go, where you can go kayaking and swimming, and there's cabanas and a bar and a wine bar.
There's everything.
There's an art gallery. It's pretty much everything in one spot.
Food truck. I mean, yeah. It is definitely the local hot spot for sure.
It is definitely.
So, guys, we're super excited because we are joined today by a local small business, and we actually just got to experience their amazing product that they have, one of the flavors of their amazing product during our hot wing challenge or our chicken wing challenge, may I say, that we recorded, that's coming up on June 29th or July 29th. I am in the past.
That's
what
okay. I'm agreeing with you just blindly. But yeah, this interview is coming out before that show.
Oh, nice.
So
it's going to, because that's pretty cool, though, because we actually already tried the product, and everybody was very excited about it whenever we did the chicken wing challenge.
And you will hear when you guys hear the challenge that it was a very popular one. But we'll get into that in a minute. So I interrupted your introduction. Sorry about that.
It's okay. That's what we're here for, is to bounce back and forth off each other.
And that's it.
I can't talk. Whatever. Anyway, guys, we want to welcome Eddie and Eric Stankiewicz. Did I do it right?
Perfect.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Yes, I didn't think about it too much.
You said it better than I
didn't
did.
even look at the spelling, so I was like, I'm going to mess it up if I do. Okay, guys? But thank you guys so much for joining us this weekend. I know you guys have some upcoming things, so you got booked quickly with us, so we love that, especially since it is before the chicken wing challenge comes out.
Yes, and that sauce is Stanky Sauce. And what's funny is when we first, got the sauce and we're doing a little bit of research, I thought, well, is this sauce? Why do they call it Stanky Sauce? The sauce doesn't stink. It smells delicious. So the very interesting backstory that you guys have on your website that we're going to talk a little bit about how you got started. But welcome to the show. And we love the sauce. Oh, for sure.
Thank you.
We tried the Honey Mango Habanero.
Ooh, that's my favorite.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
And I'll just say this, that we did the challenge. I don't want to ruin anything. We did the challenge, and it tries to go from mild to the hottest thing on earth. And I kind of botched that this time with a little spoiler alert. But, definitely there are some hot ones and there are some not so hot ones. But after we were all done and we recovered and nobody had to go to the ambulance this time. But
well, a couple of us almost did.
Yeah, no doubt. But we had a bunch of wings left and we're like, all right, now you just put whatever sauces you want on them, because they were just naked wings. And the Stanky sauce was one of the most popular ones that everybody went back for, myself included. So
true story.
Very good stuff.
Really,
very well done.
Thank you.
Really great product, guys. So, let's just get right into it. I guess most people would say, well, how'd you get into this? But it's got to be because of a love of heat a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah. That's me, and this is Eddie speaking, just because sometimes we sound the same.
Oh, yeah. That's when I call my house. My stepdad starts having a conversation with my other sister.
Sometimes
and I'm
we
like,
throw
wait,
off my
that's
mom.
Yeah.
It's Angie. He's like, oh.
Oh, you guys should prank each other and get each other in trouble. That'd be great.
We've
done that
picked up
before?
the phone for people and pretended to be each other, and then the conversation got really weird. Like, hey, no, it's me, it's Eddie.
Okay.
Stop.
Too personal.
Yeah, exactly. But it starts with me.
Okay.
And then it grows with Eric.
Oh, very cool.
So the spicy component of the business is me. I'm the hot sauce guy. I'm the guy who's liked spicy foods. Eric's been more of like a sweet tooth type of person.
Yeah.
I don't eat desserts. I don't like chocolate.
You're a savory guy.
Yeah, I don't.
When we
do
lived together, it
coffee.
was great because I knew that I can buy all the chocolate and all the ice cream, and
And
my
your
roommate
roommate
wasn't going to
could
eat it.
Oh, I was not good.
Oh, I envy you for not having the sweet tooth, though. Wow.
Yeah.
Life easier when you get older, trust me.
Yep. So I always say that it goes back to like when I was a kid and I would suck my thumbs and my mom put like something on my fingers so that it would stop. And it was something spicy or something. And I don't know.
And you loved it.
I just loved it. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is great.
She didn't realize that she was like forming your taste buds right. That is what she was doing.
Yeah. But it really does start with my mom and her cooking and grilling and barbecue. Like our house growing up was the place.
Yeah.
You know,
So where all your friends wanted to come over because mom was cooking it up.
Not just friends. We come from a huge family on our mom's side. So my mom's from Colombia and she's one of 12.
Oh, wow.
So then there's 30 cousins after, and now there's up to like 25 second generation cousins.
Oh, when you say large family, you're talking large family. That's amazing.
And then we actually have our first, I guess, third generation cousin being born within the next week.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's my cousin's son's daughter. I think he's gonna have.
Wow.
baby girl.
Isn't that a great life though? Because I had a large family on my mom's. Well, both sides really, but my mom's side, I had a lot of cousins that were close to my age. So it's such a fun experience growing up with a ton of cousins around, and when you're younger, I don't know how old you are, but my age, we did crazy things.
I'm 72.
There you go.
You look great.
Thank you. I try. It's all the hot
that
sauce.
stinky sauce. Yeah.
It is. I'm telling you, that's spice. It's doing it for you.
Well, so I'm assuming that there's recipes involved there from your mom. Then
No.
No.
So the where it begins is family gatherings.
Okay.
Family
okay.
gatherings to us is 50 people, right? Just
Oh.
on a
It's a small one.
Yeah.
Thanksgivings, Easters, Christmases. You could see 80 people at the.
Oh my
wow.
gosh, I don't even
you
want to
know,
think about the cleanup.
50.
See?
That's
Oh, but my mom loved it.
Yeah.
She loved
She
cleaning
loved
up.
it. Well, she loved the whole putting
the whole
it together
vibe.
and
Yeah.
after. But yeah,
That's
she
my
is all
sister-in-law.
about
She wants as many people as
family
possible.
together. You know.
Yeah.
Forget the BS between different people. We all come together. So I always say she was like the glue amongst
Yeah.
the beef.
Oh,
and when you
nice.
have that many people, it's hard to just kind of avoid it. But
course.
anyway,
Of course.
back to the grilling steaks. So she would make basically I tell people it's more like a chimichurri or
Oh,
like a
yeah.
salsa. Like it's kind of just in between.
Right.
And it's onions and cilantro and vinegar. And,
Oh, you're killing me.
it's wonderful.
delicious.
And then
Sounds delicious.
it just started. I was like, I need a little bit more. So she would go to the U-Pick. She would pick fresh habaneros. She would chop them up, and she would create a little bowl with the habanero ones for me.
Nice.
That's where I started, really liking a little bit hotter, and then it got a little hotter. And
Yeah.
then now for the most part, I try almost anything when it comes to like spicy stuff.
Yep.
But there's
I
some-
don't.
not him. So Eric's the perfect example of why our business exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because
it.
it's more of a, I was going to say, because the one we tried had some heat to it and had a lot of flavor too, which we talk about this whenever we do this hot sauce challenge. You can there's like a threshold, and I don't make it. You guys are the experts, but as a consumer of it, I feel like there's a threshold you get to where the heat can get so high, there's no flavor left. It's just
Correct. Yeah.
It's all
burning
about
tire.
just burning your face off.
Right. And I love that your sauce is even the person that was there that's not big into hot sauce loved it because it's got a good kick but not kill you hot, and the flavor. Oh, we've got ideas for recipes. We want to do like a
Fish
like
taco.
a fish taco with it. I bet would be
Yes.
amazing. But I don't know
Pork,
if that one is are there different levels of heat with some of the sauces?
There are. Now, one thing that I would say, and I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but our mission statement as a company is to introduce people to the world of spice while maintaining a relationship with those who already like it hot.
Yeah.
So we do that through flavor-forward hot sauces. So the way I like to...
Well, that's well put, because that's very true. With
Yeah.
the
That was
Have you-
unrehearsed, by
Have
the
you?
way.
I was gonna say, did you practice that?
Well, when
It's your business, so this
Yeah.
is what you're telling people.
and
you know?
it's basically in a sense my elevator speech of what our product is.
Yeah.
But when you get into it and we talk a little bit more about it, it's we do that with flavor forward hot sauces.
Yeah.
And the heat is more of a secondary thought. So
Yeah.
everything you're getting is all those flavors right up front, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about cooking at home with our mom. So we're not culinary trained. We've never taken a cooking class in our life, but we'd always just be at home cooking with our mom. So, that's where we got a knack for flavors, a knack for spice.
Yeah, that's where you learn it, though. I mean, even all the, chefs that are trained, there might be some that was an interest that they had, and maybe they didn't grow up in a household that was cooking all the time. But I would say majority came from households where cooking from scratch, or grandma taught them how to cook, or just that they learn about those different flavor palettes from the home that they were in.
And that was our big thing. So part of what you'll see in like some of our other sauces, and even with the honey mango and the regular mango one, is just it's a reflection of our culture and who we are. So Eddie can get into a little bit more about how the mango habanero was made, because that was the first sauce we ever made as a company. But it was mainly Eddie's like
Well, it seems like that's the pepper that you like the most. Is that
habanero?
Yes. The flavor and the
that's
heat
probably
and
the same
everything
for
of
me.
that?
Yeah, it's probably the same for me too. I could see why, because there's good flavor that comes out of that pepper too, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's get into that story of how that first sauce kind of came to be, and what was it? Just you solo kind of working on it?
That one, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So so a little side note. Sitting at the table with my dad, this is 2018. We've always wanted to put our nickname Stanky on something. And for the listeners, Stanky is just short for our last name, Stankiewicz.
Yeah.
As a child, this is what the kids called us. So we embraced the nickname and just made the best out of it. So
I love that.
Good for you.
Eric always says you do one of two things when you're given a nickname. You let it bug you, or you embrace it. And we embraced it. And we always said, hey, we're gonna do something with this one day. So 2018, I'm like, I'm still living in Miami. I had moved back to Miami from Orlando, and sitting around the dinner table, I'm like, Dad, I don't know what to do. So as he's putting hot sauce on a chip, he goes, why don't you just make a hot sauce?
Yeah, just make it
for yourself. If you like it, other people are going to like it.
Oh, wow. That's true.
So I
true.
made that hot sauce for my personal flavor profile. This is what I like. And I love mango habaneros. It's one of the most popular flavor profiles out there. Every company has a mango habanero.
Yep.
However, that's not why I chose that. So mango has a very special meaning to us. First off, being originally from Miami, the joke there is if you buy mangoes at the grocery store, it's because you don't have friends or family. Because mangoes are everywhere.
They're growing them,
Go on Instagram. The best videos is people like reaching over their neighbor's house to steal a mango. Or something like that. So,
well, it's funny that you say that, because in our neighborhood, this guy had a huge habanero tree, and I'd walk the dog by.
No, mango tree.
Mango trees. What is that? Habanero?
Where is this habanero tree?
Habanero
Holy
tree.
crap.
What is my brain on? But he had this huge mango tree, and he wasn't harvesting from it. And I could never catch him coming home, because I would see him die, and I'm like, there's 40 I could just load up right now. So I know what you mean. They're, when they're beautiful too. So when they're ready. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So then that goes back to my mom's hometown in Colombia, Barranquilla.
Yeah.
It's a coastal town in Colombia. And however many years ago, when the city was being developed, one of the state official or city officials, mayor, whoever it was, said, we're going to plant mango trees across the city so that people always have food.
Yeah.
So if you see a mango tree, that's fair game. Like,
Sure.
go grab a mango, eat it. So that was the whole idea, was to feed
so
one
everybody
there.
can just glean whenever they wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
So no one's going to go hungry. The homeless have something to eat, and mangoes are actually very healthy. They contain all the vitamins in one mango that you need on like daily,
Yeah.
I think it's something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I was just in Colombia last month, and it's crazy because
They're everywhere.
they're everywhere, and they're just on the floor, and and it rained, and all the mangoes are just being wiped away, and it's just normal because there's
So
There's
many.
there's an abundance.
That's a
People
good
are getting
problem
what
to
they
have.
need,
Yeah.
Yeah. One time I was there, and there was this really weird tree, and I asked my uncle, and it was just like in the middle of this building stairwell, and the stairs were going all around this tree. And I go, why don't they just knock out the trees? Like, removing a tree in the city of Barranquilla is the hardest thing to do. It's better to build around it or knock down the building
Because of the laws around.
the laws and the protection
that's
on the trees.
Oh, but that's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So people just build around this
Yeah,
tree.
that's
so
not a bad problem to
we
to
had
have.
I had lunch last month in a place, I think, Palo de Mango, which means mango branch, basically is the translation. So this house is a historic house, and it's now restaurants, and the patio is this giant mango tree. It's just the center of the patio, like eating area.
Right.
How
So you're just
cool.
kind of like under this ginormous mango tree that you don't really see those often out here. But yeah, it's been there forever.
Because of the age of it.
I have
Wow.
a feeling that a lot of your listeners are going to start planning a trip to Barranquilla because this sounds super cool.
I mean, that is amazing. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
think
yeah.
about if everybody just did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of flowering trees or, just a tree for aesthetics, if you're
Or-
actually providing, food for anybody.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure. That,
wow.
but even just saving the trees like that, not to sound like a hippie, but what we do here is we flatten an entire forest. We put a bunch of houses on it, and then you all get little baby trees to start over. And it's like, why didn't they just save the tree?
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Oh my
handful.
gosh, that is funny. Well, it's
Yeah.
funny that you mentioned that your mom's town she grew up in was a coastal town. That's what
Yeah.
you said, because all of your sauces remind me of like an island or the ocean
Yes.
because of just the flavors that you kind of have going in there.
Yeah, I agree. But I do want to know how did you get from that one sauce to where you guys said, let's make a business of this? Like when you made that sauce, did you start selling it? Did it?
No.
That's like here, taste my sauce, right?
Yeah.
Friends and family kind of thing.
So this is kind of where I start coming into the picture. So Eddie had given it to me, and again, I've never really been into hot sauces, but I've always loved flavor. So he hands this to me and he goes, "Hey, I think I want to sell this." I tasted it and I'm like, "Oh, this is fucking delicious." It's the only way to say it.
This is. I thought
That's how you add emphasis on something right
And
there.
you know
though,
what?
man.
We get that reaction a lot at some of these events, and people are like, sorry for my language. I
What
go,
else
no, if
can I
that's the only
say?"
way you could explain it, please
Yeah.
explain it that way. But I go, Eddie, why don't we make a sweeter version? Like, let's add honey, come out with 2 flavors, and just see where it kind of scales from there.
right.
I love that you were so on board with it because I mean the flavor must have just really been there.
Yeah.
If it was catching you like that, let's create something else already on it.
And a little-
you did.
yeah.
You did your job of creating a great hot sauce already, and now
Yeah.
you're just elevating it a little bit.
And a little bit about my background. So my professional background, I worked 15 years in retail for one of our theme park operators down
Fun.
here.
I've been in the retail world.
But I tried it and just my mind started going crazy. I'm like, a lot of people would really enjoy this sauce because I like to say we want to disrupt the market in the sense of what your expectation is of a hot sauce.
Right.
And it was thicker, it's chunkier, and you can see that with a lot of our sauces. So we use double the produce, less of the vinegar, so more of the good stuff.
I could tell that right away, and a lot of them we went through. And again, these are all mom and pop hot sauces. We really enjoyed most of them, but a lot of them are very watery. You gotta be careful when you're pouring it; it comes out like water. And yours is more of a sauce, a true sauce. I like that about it. And I bet we will definitely be trying this, but when you're making your own recipe with them, your own wings or whatever, it sticks to it more because it's more of a sauce.
Yeah.
So
Especially the honey one. The honey one's my favorite, and we promote it as our chicken wing sauce. But when we're crafting a sauce,
Yeah.
the thickness, the consistency, that's probably one of the first things we're looking for when we're making it. And then we kind of go down our little checklist of what makes stanky sauce what stanky sauce really is.
Yeah.
It's also such a great name, though.
I love saying it.
No,
really
it
is.
really is
No
a
one will
great
forget it.
name because it strikes like a curiosity. You're like, what is this?
Oh, we get a lot of people.
Oh
that's
yeah,
like, I don't
need-
know what you'd sell here, but I like the name.
I
What is
like
it?
the name. I need to know what's going on over here at this tent, right?
And
So
and
it's the first
logo,
thing that
too.
catches.
Your logo, the branding, the labeling. I'm just going to jump in because I have a little gift box, and thank you
Yes,
guys so
yes,
much for
of
this. It will
course.
go to such good use. But we have the Honey Mango Habanero hot sauce that we tried. There's the Mango Habanero hot sauce. That's the original, right?
Yeah, and that's why he
OG.
features the purple monkey, which is our flagship.
Yeah.
Oh, I
it's-
do. I love that they're different colors.
Yeah, me too. And then there's a pineapple habanero ghost hot sauce, which I'm dying to try. It looks hot.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this agave jalapeno hot sauce, that's like the next one I must try. And it looks like this is the one that you guys won the Scovie Award for,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It's our most popular one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So that one and the
Bestseller.
honey, but that one is number one for sure.
Yeah, and there's probably a reason why that one is really selling good. It's
Yeah.
because it's pretty suitable for all kind of palates,
You
right?
mean the honey mango? Yeah, for sure.
No, the
the agave.
agave jalapeno.
Oh, really? Okay. Is it less heat or is it more heat or about the
It's
same?
about the same.
Is it?
Yeah.
It depends on the person.
Sure, sure.
But the award for that is best not so hot, kid-friendly hot sauce.
Oh, nice. What is the
Yeah.
SCOVY?
What is a SCOVY?
Mm-hmm.
A SCOVY is basically like the Oscars of hot sauce awards.
Oh, nice.
So-
Tonys.
Or the Tonys.
I like that.
I figured because I know the Scoville rating is normally
Correct.
like the heat rating for hot sauce,
Yeah.
which is very hard to find, honestly, for most sauces.
Well, that's who it's named after.
Don't
isn't
don't
it?
ask me about Scoville stuff on these.
Yeah.
yeah. So I learned that right away. Just any of the mom and pop hot sauces, from what I understand, there's a lot of play in that anyway. Like there's
Yeah.
no real exact science to it. Maybe you've seen on Hot Ones where they always show the Scoville, and it's very interesting. And I did want to mention that real quick too. This stuff could totally be on that show. Have you guys submitted by chance?
Have you watched that show?
We have.
We just put a box in the mail
Yeah.
like 3 days ago.
Oh, very nice.
And we'll hope that they like what they
Yeah.
sent them.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Will
Oh,
give
I
us a
love
call
that.
one day.
Yeah,
That'd
we
be
put,
amazing.
we
And if
put a
you-
brand new flavor in there too. We're not going to spoil
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Don't
That's-
spoil
that's-
it just in case
that
it
is-
gets on the show. How
if
cool.
I will tell you, I mean, you guys obviously know what you're doing here with marketing as well, but if they don't, I would do it again every season because, I mean, this stuff
They
is
probably
really
get
good.
a lot sent to them.
Oh,
so-
they get so much. And it's a small shop. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Heatnist is a store in New York, and they carry their, it's a retail shop. And so whatever's in their store is basically what's been on the show or what might be on the show or
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know
a
that.
different flavor profile from a company that's been on the show before. And so they're very particular on what they bring in. So you need to have, for the most part, very healthy, clean ingredient listing. So
Yeah.
they don't like any artificial thickeners or anything in their sauces. So
Oh, I
what
love that,
you
actually.
get in those packets, what they are very good sauces.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Except for the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is their gimmick one.
That's
Yeah.
the gimmicky
and even Sean
novelty,
Evans
yeah.
will be like, yeah, this one's here just to like
I
hurt
know.
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to take
We just
away.
want to see you in pain. We
Yeah.
had one of those on our show.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from the bomb because, I want everyone to do well, but it would be cool to see another sauce pop up in that place that's got just as much heat with some flavor because everyone that I've ever seen, eat it as celebrities or anyone that we know personally
They
that
wanna
have had
kill
it, they're
Sean.
all like, it tastes terrible. It's just
Yeah.
horrible. So I
And
feel
there's
like,
like 40 versions of the bomb because
Yeah.
every season it's a different version of it.
and they
Oh,
all say the
wow.
same thing
Same.
every year. They're like, "Oh, it's terrible." Every celebrity's like, "That's not even good. Why would you do that?" It's like a prank. Yeah, but anyway, I wanted to ask you guys before I forgot because I could definitely see your sauces appearing on there.
Oh, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So you got together. You said, "Hey, let's make this into a business. We're going to add some things," and you just started making the stuff between the two of you yourselves.
No. So the plan from the beginning was go big or go home.
Yeah.
So we went straight to a small mom and pop manufacturer that would do that stuff for us. So they would register with the FDA. They got our
That's how I would definitely have done it if I were you. Yeah.
They got our process authority letter, and, all the little things that you need to
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
the ingredients and the nutritional facts and all that stuff. They put that together because I had no idea.
Of course.
It's a lot of research just
Yeah.
to figure
Yeah.
out where to start on that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I like Eric. I come from customer service, retail background, sales. So doing that component of it,
Would
it
be
was
nuts.
just great to kind of bring them in.
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah.
have two manufacturers in the state of Florida that help that do that stuff for us, and we can focus on getting this out there.
Oh, I
That
love
is
that.
awesome.
But those are all our original recipes.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's you go to them with the recipe, with
Correct.
how you make it. And then I would assume there's a process you go through where you make sure they make some and then you try it and you're like, oh, this is it. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So how does that process look though? So whose kitchen are we in? Are we in a rented kitchen? Like tell me, like let's walk
So,
through a typical
Eric's raising his hand.
weekend or day or however long it takes to come up with
whenever
this.
his wife is not home. Yeah. So that we don't
We're raiding the kitchen.
yeah.
And it's so when you cook with hot peppers, especially when you start to clean up and you put that water down and kind of clean out the pots and pans, like there's just this steam that's like
It's
pepper
basically
spray.
pepper spray.
Yeah.
Oh, it
That's
is.
how
Oh.
pepper spray is.
Yeah.
It's water
And-
and then
Oh,
So I
didn't
kind
think
of
of
make
that.
sure that like, you know, my wife's out
Yeah.
and we have
It
like
goes
the
into
windows
the
up
air.
and stuff
It
like
does.
that. But yeah, we'll test out. We'll kind of have conversations and be like, hey, this is a flavor profile that I've been exploring, or hey, I really like this specific. So for example, I see you have Ivanhoe Park Brewing. So one of the things that I said is I really like one of their beers, and I just said, hey, it would be cool to take this flavor profile and mix it with a hot pepper and see if we can make a sauce.
Yeah.
So that's one of the R&D ones, kind of to give a little teaser out there.
Cool.
But it's that's kind of how we go, and then we'll figure out what products we need to buy. So we'll either go to, you know, Publix, or if it's a specific type of pepper that you can't find at Publix, we'll order it online. There's a really cool community out there of growers, and you can put on a chat group, be like, hey, I need some Scotch bonnets. I need some Carolina Reaper. And then, you know, you figure out how to get that to you so
that's
you can make
cool.
these small batches.
Yeah.
And
there's
you're
some-
also supporting another,
Yeah.
small, so that's what you're going to say? Small farmer.
Yeah. I was going to say it sounds like the community is supportive, which is really nice. And
That's what I loved
you know.
about it. So when I made the jump to do this full time, one of the things that I love is the people you start meeting in the chili head community.
Is that what you call it? The
Yeah,
chili
they're
head
called the
community? I
chili
love
heads.
that.
Pepperhead. Yeah.
And you look at some people who normally walking down the street, most people would say they're not approachable. They're big. They look like, you know, they got the big beards,
Oh, yeah.
tattoos all
Trust
over
me,
the
we
place.
know brewers too. It's the same thing, you know. Yeah.
And they're the nicest people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
They're the coolest people.
Yeah.
Big metalheads, but
Yeah.
great
there's
great
a lot of
individuals.
metalheads,
But yeah, the community itself is super supportive. When, you know, even for us, when people reach out and say, hey, I'm thinking of starting a hot sauce business, you know, can you give any pointers? We love that. You know, we love to help bring people in.
Yeah.
You know, we understand how difficult it could be, and having a vision, and then how do you go from point A to point B. So we kind of try to help a lot of people that way.
Like mentorship.
Yeah, and we
that's
don't
great.
see it as, you know, there's competition out there, of course, and competition is healthy. But at the end of the day, if the industry is doing well, if hot sauce industry is doing
Yeah.
well, if the Florida local hot sauce industry is
Yeah.
doing even better, then that's just good business for everybody involved.
Sure.
I love that. And that's a great attitude because, like we say on the show, there's enough success for everybody to go around.
Enough for everybody
And-
to eat.
And everybody has a different taste bud as well. Somebody that might not like a little more of the sweetness that you have might like some that is just straight hot, like we talked about, that's
Yeah.
killing us and doesn't have flavor. They might love it, you
And,
know?
and vice versa. But we have found, and I have found in my life, that when businesses help each other, they're more successful than they would be just, you know, every once in a while you run into a group that you're taking all my secrets. I don't want to, you know, and it seems like those people do less business anyway. So I love that the community
Yeah.
is that reminds me of like the indie author community. It's the same way, where it's like, hey, I'll help you. And it's because it is an art making hot sauce. I mean, that is
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, it is.
an art.
I would say even for like, you know, everybody has a mango habanero, like he said, but everybody's take on the mango habanero is completely different.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't like all of them. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that tells you how different it is, because you could love one and not really even like one at all. So there's so many ways you can mix it together, things you can add to it and I'm a consumer of it, but I know there's a dramatic flavor difference between some of them. You have the 4 sauces right here in front of me that we mentioned. I remember seeing a 5th on your website. Is it a barbecue sauce?
It is a barbecue sauce. So
It is a barbecue sauce, and it has, you guys' labels are so cool. I just want to find
this
out,
one?
because this is probably a lot of this too. You both are from have a retail background. That's
Yes.
very important when
Oh,
it
yeah.
comes to selling your product and interacting with the public, right?
what's the experience
What's-
like from getting to buy
exactly.
it to actually holding it in your hands?
yeah,
you know?
presentation, everything.
There's a story behind everything.
I have to
and so
ask.
I want to ask about your artwork.
The
It is
label.
just great.
What is that?
This is the barbecue sauce,
Is
the
it
Florida
is it a
Sunshine barbecue
Yeti?
sauce.
no, it's
It's
a
a
gorilla.
bear.
Oh, it's a
it's a gorilla.
gorilla.
So everything, all the
I
as
get
we
it.
grow, everything. It's one of our hashtags is monkey business. So
I
it's all
get
about
it.
monkey business.
Oh.
Because you
Okay, I
got
love
monkeys
it.
on the other ones and a gorilla on this
Okay, I
side.
love it.
Okay, I get it. I love it.
And they're related. So on the barbecue sauce, that's Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
Oh,
They,
nice.
they each have a little, intricate story.
A little
in
family
between
element
them.
there.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this artwork. Who came up with it? Was it a collab? Like, is there an artist in the family? Like, how did this awesome artwork come to be?
So one thing about us is we love to connect with people, and we also like to keep. If we meet you, we know that we can always talk to you from now on. You're in our lives.
You've
right?
made a connection. Yeah, we're the same
That-
way.
That's what we say about the podcast. We've made all these friends that we
Yeah.
would have never made
Yeah.
unless we were in this business of, helping to promote other small businesses.
Absolutely. And that's why I love social media, because it's how I can continue to see how my friends are doing and the people
That
I
is
meet.
great,
So
yeah.
you got to find the positive in everything. That's the best thing about social media. I went to, so we come up with the idea, and I'm like, oh, it has to be a monkey because my favorite animal is a monkey. So one of our best friends growing up is a really great artist. I mean, this guy just would do some cool things. And within that group of friends and this is from back in middle school, there's another guy who's an amazing artist as well. So I talked to Chris, my buddy, and I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do. He's like, you should reach out to Lewis, because that sounds more along
Like
along
his
the lines.
style,
Yeah,
kind
because
of.
it was what we're trying to go here is there's a sense of a street art element in
There
there.
absolutely
While
is.
it's still kind of presentable and, professional. And he's like, ask him, because he's a muralist. So our buddy Lewis, he goes by Yuloang on, I don't know if I ever pronounced that correctly, on Instagram. And he is a big time muralist in Austin, Texas. He does tifos for the Austin soccer team. I mean, if you go and check out his page, he has so much cool stuff. So I reach out to him. Again, I know him from middle school. He's part of the group. And I said, this is what I want. So he sent me an initial copy, and it's like, no, I can't. Let me rephrase it. I need the monkey to be smiling. I need him to be friendly, approachable. Think about Dragon Ball Z. I just need
that is definitely in there. Yeah.
the whole family to just kind of be able to look at this and just smile about it. Most hot sauce labels you're going to see have the devil on it. There's fire. There's someone that died, or
It's very morbid, isn't
It's
it?
very morbid.
And there's a place for all those sauces, because people do want that, right?
Of course, yeah.
But our goal is to be family friendly.
Well, from the large family you come from, it totally makes sense. It fits your story. It just fits everything.
And this is one of the way that I say we try to disrupt the industry as well, is because it's, when we say we want to invite people, we want our mascot, we want the face of the company to be very inviting. And that's where you get Stanky Monkey.
Yep. So he sends me then this one, the purple monkey, and I go, dude, why did you choose purple as the hair? He's like, I don't know, and it seemed cool. It's like, purple's my favorite color.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, this
This
is
is
it. So
Nice.
then
So it was kind of like first take, and he nailed it, or
no, second take, because the first one was like a gorilla. Think of King Kong, and he had the vein pop in, and it looked like he was
a little
gonna
too
like
scary.
Like he was gonna
Yeah.
kill somebody,
apart,
right?
Yeah.
So I had the artwork saved for something down the line.
Of course,
maybe.
yeah.
So we went, and then the thing was every flavor would have a different monkey, and that got too complicated too quick. So
Like a whole different shape monkey.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
like-
then you did like the colored hair.
So then we went to the different colored hair for
Love
the hot
it.
sauces.
That makes your brand super recognizable.
Yeah.
That no matter what flavor it is, you know it's a stanky sauce just by looking at it.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
brilliant.
And then Uncle Frank was supposed to originally be on a different label, because we were creating those. And then when Eric approached me about the idea of creating our barbecue sauce, we're like, oh, we'll use Uncle Frank on there. So I actually went back to the artist, commissioned him, because we only had him up to about his chest. Commissioned him to do the whole body. Hey, this is Uncle Frank. He's a cool uncle that you could count on, that just wants to take over the grill. And it's the guy that everybody has an Uncle Frank type of character,
But
right?
do you actually have an Uncle Frank, or is it an
so-
Uncle Frank character?
No, our brother's name is Frank. Our other brother's name is Frank.
That
So,
is
yeah.
awesome.
And then our father's name. So our father passed away when we were young, and my mom remarried to who is our dad now. His name is Frank.
Oh my gosh. This is a great
he's,
tribute,
and
though.
he's the one who came up with the idea that I was talking to. Frank and Doris are older siblings, and they're his kids with his ex-wife who also passed away when they were young. So it was a Brady Bunch type of thing. You know, we all
Yeah.
came together and we love each other like if we just were together our whole
Yeah.
lives. So, and then we also have one of our cousins that goes by Frank. So, you know, we have the Franks
I
in our
love it.
family. So,
Oh
It
yeah,
sounds
it's
like my family where all the names they're used in every direction.
I
You're
know.
like, which one? Which David?
you call
Which Dan are you talking
yes,
about?
yeah. Like one of his nephew's name is Daniel. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of his nieces has the same name as his sister. I'm like, I mean, it's a nice tribute,
re-
but it gets
reuse the
confusing
names.
at
Yeah.
family reunions,
But
guys.
it's relatable. So you've got the gorilla on the barbecue sauce, and I don't want to make you give too many secrets away, but if you make a bunch of barbecue sauces, is the idea that the gorilla is on every one of the barbecue sauces too, or have you? Okay,
yeah, and we'll just change the color of his fur.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like we do with the other
Oh,
ones.
that's
So-
perfect.
And then the
Great.
shirt as well. So if you look at the shirt on this one, so this is the barbecue sauce is a citrus-based barbecue
Yeah.
sauce. We use orange concentrate.
I saw
in
his
it.
orange shirt.
So he has oranges on the shirt.
That's
so
great.
different elements within him would also change as we go.
Okay, I like it.
Oh, I thought it was I was thinking Florida. You know, you got the
See, that's like your retail marketing brain coming through there, though,
Yeah.
to think ahead like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will rebrand after they've been in a few years because they don't like what they were just kind of hurrying up.
Yeah.
And it seems like you had this in your mind. If I ever do have this sauce, it's going to have this name. I'm going to do something with this name one day.
Yeah.
And then you had the monkey. Like, it was already in your head. You just needed to be put on paper.
But that's
basically.
huge because the approach of what's the word
Approachability?
approachability.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I got a word.
That's a
There you
word
go.
that we use a lot.
Yeah.
Actual word.
Well, the approach of we tease Angie because she comes up with a word that's not really a word.
Well, they're going to be in the dictionary one day, so just everybody
Keep working
wait.
on it.
but the approachability is important, but it's, and as I kind of said before, you know, when you're looking for a wine or a hot sauce, or so the first thing you do is kind of what catches your eye. Of course, that's not going to work if the sauce isn't good. But it's, you know, how many times have you, if you guys have been in this industry, how many times have you had an amazing hot sauce where it was a horrible label and you're like, oh, you're never going to get anybody to even try this amazing stuff if you don't do something different with your label. So I love how you've got such an approachable label and you've got such good flavor, at least behind the one that we've tried so far, behind that label. So you're nailing it,
Yeah.
you know, and thinking that through. That's awesome. Very good stuff.
Well, that's when we have kids walking by, you'll see the kids will be in the stroller and their eyes just look at our tent. They
Oh,
don't
I
have to know
bet.
what it is.
And we give him a sticker.
We give them stickers.
Oh,
for
yeah.
all the
that's
kids.
brilliant.
That's how you get future hot saucers and buyers there, right there.
Oh,
like,
we get kids like as young as like 5 that go through all the sauces.
Oh, really?
try them all.
Oh.
Try them all, even the ghost pepper sauce, and they're like, "That was really good. I love the flavor." I was like, "I like this kid. This kid is awesome."
You know what? You guys should do one of those. I know it's kind of a ripoff, but it'd be really funny. You ever seen those YouTube videos where it's like they get kids in a room and then they give
do-
them like old
yes.
tech, or they do some kind of thing where they play like Motley Crue for them, and it would be really neat to have them try the sauces and just get their reactions to different ones.
get their honest but kids are so open too. Like if you
Well, you
let
can
them
edit
be
it, you know, whatever. But
if you let them be as as a parent, to just try stuff, they're so open to just trying, and they will give you their honest opinion
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Ew, that was too salty. You know what I mean? Like
A
they're going
child
to
has
tell you.
not lied to us about our sauce.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I
they
love how kids are so
don't.
brutally honest. Trust me, ours are grown and moved out, but when you're like in the grocery store line and then they start talking to someone and then they ask them something that is a horribly unacceptable question, like, what's
No.
wrong with your teeth or something? You're like, oh my God,
Do you brush your teeth?
what are you doing?
My mom and dad tell me I have to floss, dude. I don't have to. Like, really? Oh my
So
gosh.
you're going to get raw answers, but that's awesome that you have kids that actually have gone through the whole thing and
yeah.
like all of them.
It makes you feel good though, because
Absolutely.
you know that there's
Because it's what it was our goal, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're seeing it like happen. Like,
Yeah.
I love
It's a
that.
thing.
So you guys, do you do all the different like hot sauce conventions and stuff? Like, have you? How many years have you been traveling with that? Like, tell us about that whole experience,
I'll
because
let
we've
Eddie
been to
tell
like
you.
we've done like author events, but a hot sauce event, I bet, is crazy.
They're wild. They're so much fun.
Especially, I mean, are you guys going national with this yet, or are we just in the States? yet?
International.
Oh, very nice.
International. I like that.
We're available in the UK, in Canada,
Oh,
and
wow.
soon in Australia. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
somewhere on the ocean. on its way to Australia.
Oh, how
Chili
great
I was
Bowl
going
will
to
be our
say,
new
because
retail partner.
shipping to Australia is ridiculous.
Well, because you know how we found you. So we put out feelers on our social media about this episode coming up. We
Okay.
did our first one last year just because I love hot ones. And I was like, you know what? I love hot sauce. Let's help. Our whole business is promoting small business. So let's find some mom and pop hot sauces. We did it last year. It was one of our most popular episodes. People love that stuff. So as we're approaching it this year, I started posting, need some help finding some sauces, and yours came back many times from people like, you got to try
that's
Stanky. You
Awesome.
gotta try-
I
so-
love that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So that's great that you're international, yet your local presence is still very much, in effect here.
The
Absolutely.
local aspect of it is a big portion of ours, because you see a lot of people who kind of do it, and then sometimes they try to go nationally. But if you don't have that support from your local community,
Yeah.
you got to have people in your corner. But
Sure.
And that was one of the first pieces of advice I got before we started doing events. It's a hot sauce company called Big Red. They're out of Phoenix, Arizona. Paul Ford's the owner, and we went to the National Fiery Food Show as just guests. We're like, we're gonna get into this. Let's go as the participant and let's see how it goes.
Oh, that's a good
this
idea,
last
yeah.
year,
Again, business smart, yeah.
Yeah, this last year we showed up full force.
Yeah.
But so I talking to the owner and I go, if you have one piece of advice for me, what it is? He's like, dominate your local market first and then take over the world. He's like, when people come to Phoenix, they know this is Big Red country. So make sure that Orlando and Central Florida is Stanky country.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then you keep on going. So
Because it's almost like being a rock star or something. Your fans will be very
Yes.
vocal about. They were even just posting, so they'll be like your marketing almost,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
And another great way to do that is to partner with other local businesses as well as sports teams.
yeah, right.
So we have a lot
Did
of
we do
talks
something
about
like
it.
that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna just go back to your previous question about so Fiery Food Shows. They're the ones that host the Scovie Awards. So that's in March in
Okay.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we did our first one this past year. Second time attending, but first time as vendors. On Tuesday, I take off on a 5-week road trip across the country that will take us starting next weekend. Illinois Hot Sauce Expo in Joliet, Illinois, which was our first event that we ever did a year ago.
Oh wow.
Very
So we've
cool.
only been doing live events for a year.
Okay.
The weekend that follows, we didn't get into it, but I'm going to just participate. Is the New England Hot Sauce Festival in Hampton, New Hampshire. So I will drive over there.
Wow.
Hang out.
Road trip.
Exactly. The following
Now,
weekend.
do you have a Stanky mobile?
my truck, which people have just dubbed it the Stank Tank.
The Stank Tank?
Stank Tank. So
But you got to have that sucker all graphicked up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, once I move out of my current community because they don't allow wrapped vehicles,
Yeah.
that
gotcha.
thing is gonna go purple,
I
yellow with
bet.
monkeys and
Oh,
vines. and-
yeah.
So great.
yeah. And then so the following weekend, the first weekend of August, I'll be in right out Cincinnati, Ohio. It's called Fairfield, Ohio. It's Jungle Gyms. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jungle Gyms. Jungle Gyms is basically the Disney World of grocery stores.
Oh.
You'll go in there. They give you a map when you go in.
What the heck?
The wine and beer section is the size of like Publix alone.
Whoa. We wish we had.
Well,
these.
we got to go there.
It's a wild experience.
It's an international
Yeah.
market. And then they have a hot sauce section that carries like 1,800 to 2,000 different hot sauces. So they carry our products there.
Wow.
So this is called Weekend of Fire. It's the first one that they do since COVID started. I'm very excited to go and
So
just
it'll be nice to be representing after
Absolutely.
them being shut down for that.
And then
Cool.
the following weekend is the Portland Hot Sauce Expo. So I will go from Ohio all the way to Portland.
Oh, but that's beautiful country.
And that's supposed to be like the big event. And then I'll make my way back. I'll stop in Colorado, see some family, and then post up at one of the stores that carries our products. I'll do that in Boston as well. I'll pop up at a shop. In Illinois, I'm popping up at another shop. And that's just the next 5 weeks. I come back 2 weeks, then we go to Atlanta, come back, then I go to Pennsylvania, come back, then I go to New York, come back. We're here for October. November, we're in Nashville. And then that's
Wow.
all the traveling for the year. Then we're
Whoa.
back. Then next year we go back
But this
to
is
the
your
Fire
full.
Food
This
Show.
is both
This is-
full time for both
Uh-huh.
of you
It is,
guys.
yeah,
Absolutely.
That
And then
is
we have
awesome.
friends that They're like, when's your next event? I'm gonna go and help you. As long as I just pay for the food and the lodging, they come and they
Hand out stuff.
they don't
they're-
even let me give them free hot sauce. They're like, I will buy my hot sauce from you, but I still sneak it in their bag.
Oh my
somehow.
god,
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Something, Eric, you just said is you said now it is. So this is just really starting to fully take off for you. This is amazing. What timing for us to have found you guys
I'm
and
telling
met
you.
with
Yeah.
you just as your the whole thing's taking
International.
off. Yeah, well,
Going
you can tell with the
international.
tour you're basically doing that it's that
Yeah.
you're onto something. That's amazing.
There's something to be said about the concept of like guerrilla marketing, right?
Yeah.
You gotta go out there,
Yeah.
boots on the floor, because no one knows your product like you know it, you know?
Yeah.
And you really need to go out there. And I always say that part of the brand is also us.
Yeah.
And when we bring people into our tents when we're doing these events, we make it an experience. And part of the experience is meeting the Stanky brothers.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the guys behind the sauces. And
Well, and I bet it's a very like this warm family feel. Bring the kids in, because that's kind of the basis of, why it was started, family events and cooking. And so I bet it's this very kind of warm tent that families feel like they can just bring their kids right up into. Like you
Absolutely.
said, the kids are trying everything, and the kids want to come to the tent because of the colors and the animals. That it's very just approachable looking.
And I
So
didn't
I
even
love
think
it.
of this because I'm just not great at marketing, to be honest. But I bet you get kids that want to come in. Kids maybe then want to try the sauce, and as a result of that, the parents try the sauce, and that's
every time.
got them
Every time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But when you have a good sauce, you know that all you got to do is just get them to just
Our
put a little
conversion
bit on
rate is
that
very
chip.
good.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I bet.
How do you track that actually? Like, because it is hard when you are at an event, there's so many people walking in and out. Do you just get an estimate? Do you guys, what do you do? Old fashioned
Kind of.
clicker? Like,
In a
click, click?
sense, we talk about, so whenever we're doing a pretty long event or a big event, sometimes there could be a 2-hour drive for us to get there. So on our way back, we got plenty of time to kind of talk about it. So we'll
Yeah.
basically talk about how our transactions looked, how many people we feel that we got in. Because again, it is very hard to kind of track.
Yeah.
And when you get busy, you get busy.
But your brains are probably now, especially even busy. You're being aware that you're going to review this later, so you want to just keep an eye on what happened and how the transactions went.
Pretty
and-
much.
Well, let's
And then-
talk about the tech too. Like, how are you ringing people up? So, how are you, square? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, we use Square.
'Cause
And
that's
then
a
we
great
have
way
an
to
individual
track.
SKU for each one so that I could go back and see we
Reports.
sold 30 mango habaneros or honey mango habaneros. It's funny that each region,
It's so
in some
different,
places,
right?
our pineapple will be the best seller. In some places, honey mango habanero will be the best seller. In some places, agave jalapeno is the best seller.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Those are
and
good
it's just-
metrics to have when you're coming back, though, because you might know I need more of this one.
You double up on
probably.
that one. Yeah.
Now that we're going to Illinois for the second time, we kind of know, all right, we want to pack more of this specific sauce because we know that it last year was our most popular one. So,
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, as we're sort of starting to reach the end of the conversation here, I want to make sure before we do, we ask how people can find your sauce. Because I did see on your social media that you guys are in Ace Hardware stores now,
Yep.
right? That's the coolest idea ever. I never even would have
Well,
thought
they
of
sell
a...
barbecues there.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
sell
Mhm.
barbecue
With a gr-
grills.
oh.
You need a barbecue.
What did I just
'cause-
tell you last week? That we have been going to like Home Depot and Lowe's, and then we went to Ace over by our house, and their barbecue setup is 100 times better. They have the green
Yeah.
eggs. They have
it all.
all the
All the
different
good stuff.
Triggers,
Yeah,
Oh, the really good
Traegers,
stuff. Yeah. So what a very clever business connection there. So people can
great.
find you in the Ace Hardware stores here in Central Florida.
And as of right now, 3 Ace Hardware stores.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're going to get us in Winter Park
Yep.
off of Aloma Ave. Off of 27th, one of the new ones. It's the Ace Hardware there. It's off of 27th in Hartwood Marsh.
So it's in Claremont.
That's the Claremont
Claremont, yeah.
location.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And then in Groveland.
Okay.
You're going to... And Claremont and Groveland is as of yesterday. Groveland right off of 50. You go past a little downtown area and then
Yeah.
it's on the right. Huge store.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but...
Well, because Are Ace Hardware's franchises? Yeah. So you're getting in with the individual franchise owners.
So
And they kind of scale. There's ways that I'm sure you can kind of scale it. We know one guy from Tennessee who got into his local Ace Hardwares, and now he's pretty much at
in every
Ace Hardware.
Because they talk to each other.
Correct.
Yeah, because they're
That's
like,
amazing.
this is selling,
Yeah.
you know. Now, when you do the little pop-ups, are you going and doing like a little table where you set up at a store that sells your product, doing samples and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we have various setups. So obviously our biggest one is one you may have seen, our tent with multiple tables and everything. And then the pop-up is a little 4-foot table. It's a little bit taller. We just put one stand and then just sample it out.
Yeah. But I always love that though, because you're actually meeting the person who makes the product usually.
Yeah.
And you
meet the
can-
maker.
Yeah,
you know?
meet the maker. And really, you know, a lot of people like to pick your brain on that. Like I would. I'd be like, oh, you know.
Me too.
Asking
That's
all
what-
sorts of deep questions to see, are they really into this? Or are they just, you know.
But I hate to keep comparing it to wine, but it reminds me of like
Oh, I love
Why?
wine. Keep going.
Me
I
too.
love
Yeah.
wine.
But when you have a really good wine at a really fancy restaurant and they're walking you through the flavor palette
Yeah.
and how to taste for this and taste for that, I would imagine you could do the same thing with hot sauce, especially if you made the sauce. So do you taste that little bit of whatever? And I don't know. To me, that's the fun of finding a really good sauce is. This shows my age a little too, but really just savoring the individual flavors that might be hiding in there.
So I'm gonna-
Eric's like descriptions. I just sit there and just watch him and listen because I'm amazed by the way he does it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That means he's got a real affection for the details of
yeah.
flavor.
Oh,
though.
And a
I
good
say we're very
palate.
intentional with how we use our ingredients, but so you mentioned wine. When you open up a wine, you want to let it air for a little
Sure.
bit because you want to get all those. The aromas are part of the experience
Of
as well.
course.
When you open ours, I'm gonna say open it up, try it as soon as you open it up, close it up, and then maybe even wait like 24 hours. So like try it the next day.
We got to try it again then because we have
Yeah.
only tried it after we
It
first opened
changes the flavor completely.
Wow.
I wouldn't even say that it changes the flavor completely. It just enhances certain ones
Yeah.
because you get a lot more of the aromas. So I'm gonna say that for me the agave jalapeno is probably, and the mango habanero are really good with this. But there's so many intricate flavors or ingredients in the agave jalapeno
Right.
that when you open it up and then you wait a little while, you start to get more of the smells of like cilantro, poblano
Oh,
peppers.
you're killing me right
And then
now.
it's killer.
We came here hungry. We should.
So you just said jalapeno and cilantro earlier. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
well,
this is
we
gonna be a
gotta-
long
Can we have
conversation.
tacos
We got
tonight?
yes,
Yes.
undoubtedly with these sauces.
If you're doing tacos, that's my favorite one. Mix it with like a sour cream and make a nice crema. But if you're doing like shrimp, marinate the shrimp in that one. So I like water it down a little bit. Or even if you're doing salmon or mahi, any sort of
Yeah.
seafood, use that one as a marinade. The mango one goes really good as a glaze. If you're putting it in the oven, just glaze it real quick and then put it in the oven for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, because those ones that have like a little bit more of the sugars in them, they stick to
Yeah.
Makes
into
like
the
a
protein
crust.
or whatever that
Yeah.
you're
So
making.
Good. It's good in the air fryer too.
Okay, well, we're
Man,
going to
you
bug you guys
guys.
now with messages because we'll be like, oh, we had this fish
Look, I
and it
cooked
was so
this.
good. But before we forget also, we talked a little bit before we started recording about the fact that your sauces are mixed with ice cream in some places, right?
Oh,
yeah,
you were
yeah.
yes, I did.
so
almost
talk a
forget
little bit about
that.
that because that sounds like the coolest idea ever. The sweet and
The sweet and the heat.
Absolutely. So the first one I ever put on ice cream was the Honey Mango Habanero, and that's when I was living in Phoenix. That was one of the first two.
I never would have thought of that.
I just got vanilla and just put it on, and people
Wow.
are like, "Oh, that's so weird. What are you doing?" It's like, no, it's actually really good. So people are like, "Okay, this is actually really
And
good."
it's interesting because they do all sorts of weird things
I'm
in
so trying
that
this.
really don't go with ice cream, and then you put it together, and it's like, oh, okay, interesting.
I
I
am-
knock him for it, but it's actually really good.
Oh, I bet
Oh,
it
yeah.
is because sweet
yeah, we're
heat,
probably
like
gonna buy
barbecue,
ice
you know?
cream on the way home, guys. Like
Ice
this
cream
is,
and taco ingredients. I'm not even
There
kidding.
you go. You guys, you could use this on anything. That's,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Then last year, the first time I ever did this, I smuggled these sauces into Disney World, and we went for
I love
Flower
it.
and Garden Festival, and I went and got a Dole Whip pineapple float, and I
Oh, the
just poured
staple.
it on it,
Ooh.
and I just went at it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And it was
great in margaritas,
so good. And
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So
hold
that's we have a recipe to make a stankerita, just a spicy pineapple spicy pineapple margarita. I
Oh,
don't know why I couldn't say
my
that.
What are you,
gosh.
what is this secret recipe or one we can look up?
No, it's I've posted on our Instagram, and we're working on our new website where we'll have different blogs and
Yeah.
recipes on there as well. But you
You
for
need
the
a
adult-
sticker for the Stankarita.
Okay,
So-
I
You need
really
a
want to try
sticker.
that too.
Oh my gosh.
So last year for Halloween, we did half the table was the margaritas for the adults, and the other half was the candy for the kids. All of a sudden, Eric met all his neighbors.
Oh, I bet.
I'm the most popular guy in the
I
neighborhood.
bet you are.
HOA president.
I love it.
But so today is National Ice Cream Day, and one of our cousins, our cousin Frank, he is a big supporter of us, and he lives in Virginia. So he passed this along to the different community leaders, and one owns the ice cream shop. So for today on their menu, you have the Stanky spicy pineapple ice cream. So he
That's cool.
actually made an ice cream utilizing that sauce.
It's in the ice cream. It's on your
It's in
picture.
the ice cream. Yeah. So it's not like drizzled on top or anything. It's actually blended into the ice cream and then served out.
That is so cool.
Yes, super cool. So happy National Ice Cream
I
Day.
know.
So,
I guess-
guys, if you try this at home, you make sure that you tag Stanky Sauce.
At the Stanky Sauce on all social media. And also our hashtag is Feed Adventure.
Yeah.
So if you do decide to do that, please add that onto it.
Oh, nice. Feed
Yes.
Adventure. And we'll put some links in the show notes like we always do with links to your social media, your website, and then we'll mention the hashtag in there as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This
Yeah,
is
and
for
sorry I
having
didn't
us.
answer
Wow.
your question about the sports teams. You know that one.
Oh,
you did.
I missed that. Yeah. See how we see how these interviews go? We go all over the place.
That's
I'll let Eric talk about the sports.
That's how we get involved. Yeah, that's a real great way to get involved in the community. So tell us a little bit about
The Guardians, yeah.
So yeah, we got with the Orlando Guardians. It was their inaugural season, and we really wanted to do again something into the community. And we love what the XFL is doing. And I'm not going to go into all that, but it really resonated with our brand. So we were lucky enough to just kind of seize the moment. We were put next to the Guardians at an event that we were at. We were just ready for the moment and just did the pitch. And that next Monday, they gave us a call and say, hey, you guys want to do a partnership? And things just kind of went from there. And that was a super cool experience. And it's kind of branched this out into some other local community teams. But that's where I'll stop with
Awesome.
that.
Yeah,
but you're going to see a
keep
lot
an eye
more
on
from
our-
Stanky Sauce
Yeah,
for sure.
keep an eye on
on our
social media.
socials because in the fall there's something. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it yet, so
Just keep
we'll
it
talk.
quiet.
But
Keep
yeah,
it, entice
it's
people.
gonna-
Just
the-
put that little
the
nuggets
fall
out
is
there.
going to be really cool for sports, for Orlando sports, and for us, our involvement with some Orlando sports.
Oh,
That
wow.
is
How
awesome.
cool is that?
Yeah,
How
we're
very
excited.
exciting.
Very exciting.
Very exciting
Well,
for you guys.
We love the product, and thank
Love
you so
it.
much for the gift box here. We're
Of
definitely
course,
going to
of
try
course.
all these too. So nice to meet you
Lots
both.
of posts
Yeah.
from Fine and Danjee coming.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And stay in touch. We'd love to find out what you're doing and
sure.
how else we might be able to help promote you.
No,
And
thank you for having us.
And thank
for
you for
sure.
being the very first guest in the comfy section
Yeah,
of
I
the
love it. I don't
Wakaiva
wanna
Island
get up.
studio. I know.
we were
I know.
concerned
Bill
it was
made
going to
this
be.
like, hey,
Yeah.
well, just be here for a while.
Yeah, but
We're
it's
not
got a
going
cool
anywhere.
vibe in
I feel
here.
like I need a scotch though.
Yeah.
Well, there's
It could be
we're
these
around here.
we are surrounded by Bill's collection here
of booze.
of all sorts of stuff from all over the world. I'm
Yes.
sure he's got very interesting bottles and everything up here. We'll
it's-
take a
I've
picture
just-
of them.
Definitely something. Anywhere you look in this room, there's something to just like captivate you. You know.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it all has a story behind it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're sitting this way because this is beautiful art, but it's less for me to space out on while we're talking to our guests.
Like you're looking- Well, thank you guys once again, and we want to thank Wakaiva Island for sponsoring the studio
Once again,
here.
for sure. Yes, indeed.
And thank you for our little puppy for sleeping for the rest of the time, Mackenzie.
She
thank
did
you.
good. She
did
did good.
good.
She did pretty good.
That's right, guys. And once again, thank all of you for tuning in and supporting our small businesses. And make sure to check out Stanky Sauce, guys. We will put a link in the show notes below so you can go and try your bottle today.
And make sure you watch out for our upcoming Wing Challenge
Yes.
special because the
July
Stanky
29th.
Yes, Stanky Sauce was a big player in that, so it was really fun.
That's right, guys. And as always, wait, let me get it out right. And as always, at the end of each and every day, it's all fine and dandy. Hi, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show today. If you did, we would love a review. So make sure to head over to your Apple Podcast app or whatever app you listen to your podcast on and give us a 5-star review. Also, give us a like and a follow on our social media. You can find that all under Fine and Danjee. And if you want to find out more about our guest or about us, head over to fineanddanjee.com.